So we got the Swedish climate expert, champion of many debates, apparently removing her tweet saying that the world is going to end in 2023. I'm glad that she actually remembered what she tweeted, so she had to go back in time. But what do I say? She. Like, I doubt that she's actually in control of her own Twitter. I mean, probably a PR team. If you guys remember, there was the scandal when Facebook had a bug and it actually revealed who is behind the accounts. And in the case of Greta Thunberg, it was her father, if I remember correctly, as well as a Indian person from the UN. So chances are she is not the person tweeting, but the tweet was removed. I understand that we need to be responsible when it comes to protecting the environment, right? Responsibility. Can we be responsible when it comes to creating a panic? Or is that okay? You know, like when you cause a civil panic, when you have people in the UK blocking the roads, blocking airfields, throwing oil on paintings. Yeah, you know, like those things. Or is she not responsible for them? Because I remember words have consequences, right? So like, for example, if you have a YouTuber who creates a panic and then something happens somewhere, he is responsible. For some reason, this isn't it. You know, Greta, let me give you a piece of advice. When you make predictions, try to make them like really far into the future so that if they don't happen, people forget about them. Like if you say the world is going to end 60 years from now, by the time it actually comes to pass, like by the time 60 years chronologically descend upon us, many people will forget about what you said. So also, the more into the future, the more likely it is to happen. Right? So if I were to say in 3,000 years the world will end, well, chances are a meteorite can come or something, right? Like there's a lot of time span for events to unfold. But yes, apparently she deleted it in shame, but the internet is forever. This is not going to affect her credibility in any way, shape, or form. She's still going to be used as the poster person for the climate. I mean, you can't think about climate without thinking about her. Like, she's more proeminent than Captain Planet at this point. So, that is one of the things. But Swedish climate activist, I like to say alarmist after what happened, right? Like, alarmist. Your house is on fire. We need to act now. Raise the taxes, government. Delegate more power to the government. How can we control Sky Daddy without the government? She is known for calling out the big industrialists. Isn't she, like, protesting windmills right now? Last time I heard, like, she was in Norway, protesting the windmills. So anyway, she wants to raise awareness about the crisis. However, among all of her bold remarks on the social media platform, an old deleted tweet is now making headlines, according to the Russian news outlet. Oh, shit. Can I use it as a source? I'm not using it as a source. I'm using it another outlet that uses Russia as a source. But, you know, like, if it's true, if it actually happened, does it matter? I do not know. I'm in dangerous waters right now. The Swedish climate activist has deleted a 2018 tweet in which she allegedly predicted that climate change will wipe out all of humanity. Well, I guess, you know, the question is, like, did she mean it metaphorically or did she mean it physically? Like, I am a human being. You know, there is a saying, humans are born every day, but our humanity remains constant. Maybe that's what she was referring to, you know, like, today most humans are going to behave in an unsavory manner. That's what she was referring. In the next 5 years, which is today, she said, she tweeted a top climate scientist, oh my god, who urged the world, who is it though? Like, I'm really curious, who is this top climate scientist? Do they not get discredited, by the way, like when they goof? When they not goof and you're like, oh, whoopsie. You know, like if you're a doctor and you accidentally cut a person's kidney. You go oopsie, but then you get under investigation, right? The malpractice lawsuit, like those things. Do they happen to these scientists? Probably not. So apparently the scientists urged the world to stop using fossil fuels. Well, maybe this is what happened, right? The yellow vests saved the day because I understand when Macron raised the gas prices, the yellow vest went in Paris They had a little bit of an uprising there, and no cars were driving through Paris for a while, right? So because of that, maybe there was, the pandemic. The pandemic locked people in their homes, so we had fewer emissions. Maybe that's what happened, she said that, look, if we stop polluting, we buy more time. While it is still unclear when the climate activist deleted her tweet, many Twitter users started pointing out to the disappearance of the tweet. Greta Thunberg and the climate activists, the predictions of the end of the world, the catastrophic rise of the oceans that are going to flood Obama's house, countries underwater, have all turned out to be false. What is the agenda behind the lies and fear-mongering? Well, of course, give the government more power, pay more taxes, take away people's cars. Right? The solution is socialism. Because if the solution was nuclear power, they wouldn't have pushed it as much. A Twitter user wrote on the social media platform and a shared snippet of Greta's tweet. In the now deleted tweet, Thunberg shared the link to a report. The top climate scientist is wearing that, blah, 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 5 years. Here we go. This is the one. Top climate scientist is warning that climate change will wipe out all humanity. What I really love is that instead of saying, well, okay, this guy was a twat, like this guy was wrong, no, delete this. On the internet, we call this delete everything mode. Delete everything mode. And as you can see, more people are pointing it out. Greta Thunberg deleted this because it exposed her for being a fraud. I just genuinely wonder, who looks at this person and genuinely thinks, yes, expert. Because the whole thing is the whole shtick was to put a child to push for something unsavory at the time, right? Why do you do this? Because you need to get wisdom from the child, right? Like children, they are smarter than the adults. In any revolutionary ideology, this is the case. Whether it was Mao's revolution, whether it was the Soviet revolution, all of them, they believe the same thing. The child is smarter than the adult, right? Children have a fresh take on things. They have beautiful minds. Meanwhile, the adult is stuck in their old ways, stuck in superstition. They're unsavory, right? So the child is smarter. However, when the child gets criticism, it's well, how can you criticize a child? Why do you do this? You're an adult. Why do you put your mind to criticize a child? That's not called for. That is not okay. So this is the way many revolutionary ideologies have done things. And it's very effective, by the way, right? So you put the child starts talking, people listen. You criticize, how dare you criticize a child? My idea was to put another child to criticize her. See, we can do a Pokemon battle. Also, I love the fact that they considered her to be a child. I mean, she was a teenager. When I was 17, if I called a colleague of mine a child, he would be throwing hands. Teenagers do not want to be called children because they want to transition to adulthood. And it's also interesting because when I was her age, when she started, I remember I was doing trigonometry, I was doing math with hyper complex numbers, I was doing quantum physics. That was part of the school curriculum, right? I don't understand the idea of not being able to have a debate. I have seen 16-year-olds debate with adults. It's not. In fact, I were to argue that my baggage of knowledge was actually far more dense when I was a teenager and I was in high school doing constant homework and having to study so many things. I was actually more, I'm not going to say intelligent, but I had a far bigger baggage of knowledge than I have now. If you don't believe me, go and try and do some math equation from 6th grade. See if you can pull it off, right? Especially if you haven't done math in years. Try pulling it off and you're going to see, well, how the hell was I able to do it back then? Especially if you used to be good at math, right? Try doing something a little bit more complex now. You're going to find out that, and if you happen to work in the field of mathematics, then yeah, probably you'll be able to pull it out. But if I were to start asking you questions about history that you knew how to answer in high school, probably won't know how to answer them today, especially if I start going exactly about the time period. What year did that happen in? Right. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.